Cyclone Biparjoy edging closer to the coast of Gujarat, India. Well, it's seen better days, but it's still a fairly decent tropical cyclone, Category 1 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, located at 21.8 north, 67 degrees east. Very little movement over the last 24 hours as the storm is paralleling the coast of western India. Winds of 90 miles per hour and a pressure of 961 millibars right now, moving northeast at 3 miles per hour, very slow indeed. That's just 5 kilometers per hour, and the wind speed there is 145 kilometers per hour. That's as of 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 12 noon UTC. Here is its current location displayed on the map with its wind field, which is still most expansive on the southern side and really not as much on that northern side. This is as of 5:30 p.m. on June 14th, the storm slowly moving northeastwards towards land. It's 204 kilometers from Dwarka, 246 from Nalia, 315 from Bhuj, 340 from Karachi and 393 from Rajkot. And this storm could affect all of those areas, potentially with tropical storm force winds or at least gusty winds. And of course, closer to the center of the storm, near the landfall zone, we could see hurricane equivalent winds and lots of rainfall and potentially a storm surge. Could be very dangerous conditions, and of course its effects have already started to be felt. And we're still concerned then for the flash flooding being the primary hazard. Large areas of very high precipitation still expected in this area during and after the storm's landfall, and now extending well inland as well. South of the landfall zone, rainfall totals of 750 millimeters are still possible, with very high rain rates leading to major flash flooding issues. It's not always the accumulation amount, sometimes it's the rain rate and how rapid it is that can lead to flooding issues. Next few days then, here's this movement slowly towards the northeast. By the time we get to Thursday evening probably, it's going to make landfall and then move inland and then pass well to the south of New Delhi there as we get through the weekend. And it will last for quite a bit actually, certainly in terms of distance, before it dissipates completely by the time we get to the beginning of next week. So this storm could affect many people well inland with strong winds. 90 miles per hour is what we're going with right now. IMD, same with that as well. JTWC is still a little bit higher there with 100 mile per hour winds, and the ADT, the Dvorak satellite technique there, way down at only 65 miles per hour. Makes me wonder whether they've got a good handle of that storm. Probably not. But we do know that up to around 10 million people are in the line for potentially significant tropical storm force winds, and quite a few more than that in the heavy rainfall zone as well. Here's the JTWC forecast cone. I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion now what's going to happen. And the main question really, I suppose, is how much weakening will we see before landfall? And maybe we can get away with a tropical storm landfall rather than a hurricane equivalent landfall, but that's still a little bit up in the air right now. Is GFS model pretty much in line with what we've been forecasting there, taking it well inland, and GFS still has it going on for quite a bit and holding intensity really well as it moves inland. Not sure whether that's actually going to happen or not. That's going to be a big question mark, but a lot of odd movements just before that landfall there, erratic movement, but generally it's a northwestward track into land very close to the India-Pakistan border in about 24 to 30 hours from now. So we're talking about tomorrow evening, maybe late in the evening. Here's the rainfall profile over the next few days as well, and you'll notice here quite clearly there is the southern side pretty much throughout that has by far the strongest, or at least the heaviest rainfall. The northern side, comparatively very little going on there. So places like Karachi, which is on the northern side of the storm, is going to receive probably only a very small amount of rainfall, but on the southern side we're looking at very large amounts of rainfall, and we'll see those rainfall totals in a moment. You can also see though it extends well inland as well, so as mentioned we could see areas far inland over India there receiving very high rainfall rates. So this is the rainfall accumulation then, and this is what we're looking at large amounts there in those pink areas. That's over 16 inches, that's 400 millimeters in total, and we're looking at maximums probably of around 500 millimeters all along that track that's moving through that area there. And you can see Karachi up there in Pakistan, very little, only around half an inch now, which is around 15 millimeters. But you can see extending well inland there, over 20 inches, that's 500 millimeters, and near the landfall zone itself, maybe a little bit higher than that, getting up towards 600. Across Gujarat, the southern part of the state there, getting up to around 4 inches. Sea surface temperatures are still looking decent all the way up until landfall. Temperatures around 29 degrees Celsius, maybe a few little areas of 30 hugging the coast. So actually the sea surface temperatures do get slightly better just before the storm makes landfall, which begs the question really on just how whether we could see maybe a slight bit of strengthening before it gets towards land. Let's hope not. And we just saw there, not far from the Himalayas in those plains, very high temperatures today, and that's as of right now. Temperatures there of around 43, 44, even more than that actually, 46 degrees Celsius. Visible imagery over the last few hours then shows that the storm has been decomposing a little bit. It's slightly bare on the northern side. As a matter of fact, its circulation is almost exposed. The southern side having a lot of beefy convection there, which will be producing a lot of that rainfall, but on the northern side there's very little. Rotation mostly exposed on the northern side of the centre. Here's a wider view from the European satellites, and you can see there that its movement is very slow over the course of this afternoon, as it has been for around 2 days. As mentioned, only 3 mile/hour movement. There it is, pretty much moving northwards. Looking at this Force 13 floater, you can take a look at these live on our website. And you can also watch our live stream, our automated stream, which is running all the time on YouTube right now as this storm gets closer to land. It is coming, it will start to move quicker, and you better be prepared because it's on its way.